Adam Thorson hated being called runt. He was 9 years old and small for his age. The boys playing sports told him to go home and grow up. To them, he was an outcast. His father had died in a plane crash when he was 2 and he didn't remember him. His mother doted on him and he wished he would suddenly grow instead of being so thin and short. He played a lot with Shelby Grant, who lived next door. He thought she was very nice because she never called him runt or squirt. She was just a little larger than he was and she was also 9. He enjoyed playing with her and often played just about all day with her. Then one day she asked him to wear one of her old dresses. He said he didn't think so, but she kept on badgering him until he agreed to wear one. She then told him to get completely undressed and he did. She handed him a pair of Little Mermaid panties and a silk slip to put on. He got them on and she gave him a pair of lace-top socks to wear. Then it was the dress. It was a green dress with bows decorating it. He'd always liked how she looked when she wore it. Then she gave him a pair of black flats to wear. Everything fit perfectly and she buttoned up the back of the dress. They played for over 3 hours, then he said he wanted to go home. He asked her to unbutton him. She told him he could wear it home. He said he didn't want his mother to see him wearing a dress. Shelby told him not to worry, that his mother would understand. She said she would call his mother in a little while and talk to her. He asked her again to unbutton him and she told him to just go home. He left, feeling silly in the dress. At home he tried to sneak in without his mother seeing him. No such luck, his mother spotted him and asked him why he was wearing a dress. He told her it was all Shelby's fault and that she wouldn't unbutton it so he could come home. His mother teased him that he looked very pretty in the dress and maybe he should keep it on. Just then the phone rang. He heard his mother say, "Hello Shelby," then, "Oh, really, then that is a great idea, then I'll see you in a little bit." Then she hung up. That was Shelby. She said you really enjoyed wearing the dress. She said she had more dresses that were too small for her but would fit you and that you could have them to wear. She said she could bring them over for you. I think it is a great idea for you to wear dresses for a while. You look so cute in that dress and Shelby always had the prettiest dresses to wear. As long as you have that dress on you might as well keep it on until bedtime. Mom. Please unbutton it so I can get it off. I don't want to wear dresses. Please, Mom. No, you are going to keep it on and tomorrow you will wear a different dress. You will wear dresses until I tell you that you can wear your jeans again. By the way, where are your jeans? He had forgotten them, and they were at Shelby's. He told his mom that they were there and she said that when Shelby brings them back she would think about letting him possibly get back into his jeans. She said if she didn't bring them back she would keep him in dresses until whenever. There was a knock on the door and it was Shelby. She had an armload of dresses and a good-sized bag along. She told his mom that the bag had some shoes that were too small for her and some underwear that was too old for her to wear anymore. His mom asked if she brought his jeans back and she said she forgot them. His mom told her there was no hurry for her to bring them back, that he would be wearing dresses until she brought the jeans back. She told her to be sure to keep them in a safe place until she could bring them back and winked at her. Shelby smiled, knowing what she meant. Shelby left and his mom looked at the dresses, saying how pretty each one was. He knew each dress from when he had seen Shelby in each of them. Then his mom shocked him, telling him there were some things they had to pick up. In the car she said there were things he would need to go with his dresses. She took him to a children's clothing store. There she found him socks that were lace-trimmed and a beautiful party dress. She said Shelby's dresses were all pretty but that he needed a party dress. Then she found him a child's pink purse with My Little Pony on it and a matching wallet. She got him a hat to wear to church that had flowers on it. He was glad when they left the store. Then she took him to a drugstore where she got him nail polish and light pink lipstick. She saw some perfume she said she knew he would love. He was starting to regret coming home in the dress. Then it was to a beauty parlor where he ended up with a cute child's hairdo. He had ringlet curls and a ribbon was placed in his hair. He was starting to feel sick. His mom said they had to make one last stop. It was at a shoe store where she got him 2 pair of 2-inch heels to wear. One was black and one was white. Back at home his mom did his fingernails in bright red and put lipstick on his lips. She had him wear the heels to get used to them. She told him to walk around the block to get used to the heels. He left to go around the block. He got a little more than halfway around when he met Peter Hughes. Peter was a bully and had picked on him before. Peter saw him and recognized him. He stopped him and said he now looked like he should. Then he said that he was missing something. Peter took him by his arm and led him into his house. Inside he asked his sister where the doll was that she hated. It was a rag doll, very soft and cuddly. Peter stuck it into his hands and told him to hug it. He did as told. Peter told him he was to take the doll wherever he went and if he saw him without the doll he would beat him up. He told him he wanted to see him by the ball field every afternoon hugging his doll. He then pushed him out the door and told him to get home. Adam almost ran to get away from that house and bully. At home his mother said he looked so cute hugging his doll. She called him Angel. He didn't catch it right away until she called Angel for supper. She told him his name would be Angel for the foreseeable future. The next day at Shelby's he was crying, telling her of all that happened to him. She smiled when she saw him hugging his doll. When he told her his mom was calling him Angel, she said that was a pretty name and she started calling him Angel. He told her it was all her fault and she said he was the one who had gone home wearing a dress. He said he couldn't get it off and she wouldn't unbutton it so he could get it off. She told him she knew he liked how the dress felt and she had told his mother that she should let him wear dresses. He wanted to hit her but held back. She finally told him she was sorry if she hurt him. He felt a little bit better. It was lunchtime and Shelby's mother told him he looked really cute in his outfit and his nails so pretty and in his lipstick. Shelby asked why she couldn't wear lipstick and her mother told her she would put some on her right after lunch. Shelby was spoiled and her mother knew it. After lunch Angel said he had to walk by the ball field so Peter wouldn't beat him up. Shelby said she would walk with him. He walked hugging his doll. By the ball field the boys all came and taunted him, asking if he would kiss them and asking his doll's name. Peter said in a commanding voice to tell the boys his doll's name. He said it was Elizabeth. It was the only name that came to mind. He and Shelby started walking away and the boys called names after him. For some reason he felt safe walking with Shelby. He ended up wearing the dresses for 2 weeks before Shelby took his jeans over and gave them to his mother. The only incident happened on the 9th day. He walked to the ball field and suddenly Peter grabbed him and kissed him. He was shocked and disgusted. Peter and the boys all laughed at him. He was really embarrassed by the whole thing. 2 months later Shelby and her family moved to the other side of town. He saw her very infrequently though she always talked to him nicely. He enjoyed seeing her, but knew it was impossible for him to see her every day. When he entered high school he saw her every day. She was in math and English class with him. She had developed into a very lovely girl. He knew he had a crush on her but thought she was out of his league. He suffered in silence. During his sophomore year, he had her in English and world history class. It was coming up on the first semester exam time, and she asked him, because he was so smart in world history, if he could help her get ready for the exam. He agreed, and she said he should come home with her on Friday after school. On Friday, he met her outside of school and they walked to her house. At her house, the first thing she said was that they had to play yesterday. He asked what yesterday was, and she told him it was reliving old times. She led him to her bedroom and told him to strip. He knew he would do whatever she asked and stripped. She handed him a pair of lace-trimmed silk panties to put on. He slid them up his legs. Then she fastened a bra on him. She stuffed the cups with panties and saw his shoulders sag. Then it was nylons and a garter belt. She fastened the nylons inside of his panties. Then it was a pink nylon lacy slip, which she helped him get over his head. Then came the dress. It was light violet and had satin trim in dark violet. It looked very pretty on him. Then she had him sit at her vanity and she put makeup on him. When she was done, he had eye makeup and foundation with blush and cherry red lipstick on. He felt silly, but he loved Shelby so much that she could do anything to him. She told him her parents were gone for the weekend. After supper, they started studying. He was a very good tutor and told her ways to remember the facts of history. They studied until it was late. Shelby told him he should stay the night. She told him to call his mom so she wouldn't worry. He did, and his mom told him to behave himself and enjoy his stay with Shelby. When it was bedtime, Shelby gave him a very feminine nightgown to wear. He got it on and she kissed him good night. He was in heaven, having gotten the kiss. The next morning she had him dress in a pink sweater and white skirt that had pink trim. She had him wear a pair of pink 2-inch heels. He walked perfectly in them. She liked how he looked and she told him he looked beautiful. They studied some more and by noon they were finished studying. She made them lunch and he said he had to go home now. He was shocked when Shelby told him his boy clothes were missing. She said he would have to wear what he had on to go home. He said he couldn't go home like that. She told him he had no choice but to go home wearing the sweater and skirt. He finally accepted it and left. He got home without incident. The bus dropped him off at the corner by his house. He entered and with luck got to his room without his mother seeing him. He quickly changed clothes and stuck the girl's clothes under his jeans in his drawer. Monday morning, and he was walking outside of school. Peter and his girlfriend, who was a cheerleader, stopped him. Sandy the cheerleader said, "I heard all about your weekend. Did you enjoy yourself? I know you just want to wear the costume I wore for Halloween last year. Why don't you come with us across the street to my house and put it on? I just know you want to wear it all day." Peter gripped his arm and he had to go with them. At her house she brought out a fairy costume. It had a dark green and black dress and some green wings fastened to the back of it. Sandy helped him get it on and told him they would give him his clothes back after school. Peter told him he was now the school fairy. He entered school shaking with embarrassment. Just about every student that saw him laughed at the sight. When he saw Shelby, he asked her why she had to tell Sandy about him wearing a dress this weekend. Shelby told him cheerleaders had no secrets between them. They shared everything together. It was the longest day he had ever had in school. In the afternoon things settled down and he wasn't laughed at as much. One girl came and told him she felt sorry for him and that Sandy was mean to make him wear that outfit. He felt a little better knowing that someone cared about his situation. After school, Peter handed him his clothes, but they had been put in a cage and it had a puzzle lock. He tried to solve the puzzle but couldn't get it. Finally, he gave up and started home. At home, he was glad his mother was gone. He went to his room to change. He went on the internet to see if he could find a hint on opening the puzzle lock. The second site had the same puzzle and he tried to unlock the cage. It opened and he breathed a sigh of relief. He put the fairy costume in the cage after removing the wings and relocked it. The next morning he approached Sandy and thrust the costume into her hands. He said thanks for the use of your costume and walked away. Then it started, everyone was calling him Fairy. He didn't like it but knew there was no way he was going to stop it. It was his senior year and the year-end prom was scheduled. Shelby asked him if he was going to the prom and he said probably not. She asked him if he would take her for old time's sake. He readily agreed. He was totally happy at the thought of going with someone so pretty. The prom was a total success. It seemed like people looked at him differently, with a look of admiration. He was as happy as he had ever been in his life. He was going to school the last day when Peter and Sandy stopped him and forced him to go to her house. There she had him put on one of her cheerleading uniforms with pink sneakers. He felt really stupid but knew he had to wear it or Peter would beat him to a pulp. In school, no one seemed to notice him. Everyone was busy cleaning out their lockers or getting yearbooks signed. He didn't seem to mind having to wear the uniform. Shelby saw him and teased him, saying she would have worn her uniform if she knew he was going to wear one. He told her he didn't think it was funny. She asked him if he wanted to go out tomorrow night. He agreed. He and Shelby started going out on a regular basis. After a little over 6 months, she asked him if he wanted to get married. He asked to who, and she said to her. He couldn't believe that he was going to be married to his goddess. He agreed, and they set a wedding date. He had a job in a laundry. He worked with 5 other women and it paid more than minimum wage. Shelby got a job in an insurance office. They continued to see each other a lot. There came the day of the wedding. He looked really handsome in his tuxedo. Shelby looked stunning in her wedding gown. The service went great with no unexpected happenings. That night they spent in a bridal suite at a motel. They were much in love. The next morning Shelby was up first. When he woke up he wondered where he was. Then he remembered the wedding and knew where he was. He got up to get dressed. He looked in the suitcase Shelby had packed and didn't see his clothes. All that was in there was a bra, panties, nylons, heels, slip and a red and yellow sundress. He asked Shelby where his clothes were and she called him silly, that they were in the suitcase. He asked where in the suitcase and she said, "Isn't there a sundress in there?" He said there was and she said that was for him to wear. He was mortified but he put everything on. At their apartment the first thing he did was change clothes. He told Shelby he didn't think it was funny at all. She pouted some and he apologized to her. The gift opening at her parents' house went great. They got a lot of useful things and did great on the cash gifts. They loaded up their car with gifts and headed home. Monday morning they were on their way for the honeymoon. They drove and made over 400 miles. They stopped at a motel and settled in for the night. The next morning Shelby was up first. She looked at Adam sleeping soundly lying on his back. The covers were down around his waist. It was too good an opportunity to pass up. Shelby quickly had the silicone breast forms fastened to his chest. He woke up and got out of bed. He went into the toilet and did his morning routine. Then when he looked at himself in the mirror he saw the breast forms. He couldn't believe it. Why had Shelby done that to him? He went out and demanded to know why she had put the breast forms on him. She laughed and told him she thought he needed a change of style for a little bit. She told him to lie on the bed on his back. She mounted him and soon he was in her and enjoying himself. Now, tell me you want to wear dresses or I will stop. No. Tell me or I will stop. Okay, I want to wear dresses. He couldn't stop himself because he felt so good right now. They both came within seconds of each other. When it was over, he put on a bra and panties. She handed him a pair of silk stockings to put on. He got them on, and a garter belt. Shelby congratulated him when he fastened the stockings himself. Then it was a black slip followed by a black sleeveless dress with a sequin top. Then it was black heels with a 3-inch heel. Then Shelby applied makeup to his face. When she was done, no one would think he was a man. She gave him a necklace and bracelet to wear. He said he didn't think it was necessary to wear all of that, but she said it was because he was looking like a woman now, so he had to pass as one. They were leaving and Shelby was driving, and they were enjoying the countryside views when Shelby saw a sign that read Country Salon. Walk-ins welcome. 1 mile. She pulled in and they went in. Shelby talked to the woman there and soon the woman called Adam to follow her. She started to work on his hair. He didn't know what was happening to him. She soon finished and put a plastic cap over his hair. Then she had him sit at a small table. She started to give him a manicure. Everything went fine until she started to apply color to his nails. He wanted to pull away, but she had a good grip on his thumb. She told him to relax his hand and he did. She finished the first hand and asked for the other. He slowly offered the other hand. When she was done, he had shiny red nails. She took him back to the chair and 5 minutes later he had narrow eyebrows with a feminine arch. She told him they would grow back in about 6 months. She said she could have tweezed them and gotten the roots out and then they would never grow back. She said this way he could decide later if he wanted them tweezed or not. She took off his plastic cap and started to work on his hair. When she was done, she turned him so he could see himself in the mirror. He couldn't believe it was him. He didn't look at all the way he did before. He looked like a woman totally now. Shelby told him he now was like a woman and that was how he was going to stay. Is this just for the honeymoon or what? I think it's for the foreseeable future. You always were better in dresses and everyone knew it. So it shouldn't be any big deal. You can continue to wear dresses and be comfortable in who you are. I don't want to wear dresses. You are putting me in them. Why didn't you pack any of my clothes? I didn't pack any because I know you look better in dresses than in jeans. You have to admit you are a failure as a man, but as a woman you can be successful. This hit him hard. He had to admit that being a man was rough on him, but he thought he could make it. He didn't think it was necessary for her to keep him in dresses. He wondered how he could stop it. They traveled without talking. Shelby looked at him a few times and saw he was thinking pretty deep. She didn't want to disturb him. She pulled into a family diner for lunch. They went inside and quickly ordered. He looked like he was ready to talk. Shelby asked, "Well, have you thought things out?" "I can't say that I have come to any decision yet, but I have thought about a lot of things. Some things you may be right about, others I don't know yet." "Well, one thing is clear. I can't call you Adam when we are someplace. What was it your mother called you when you wore dresses? Wasn't it Angel?" "Yes, it was." "Why are you bringing that up now?" "Because I think that is your new name. Angel is such a pretty name and I know you will like it. Now, Angel, tell me you like it." "Why should I like it?" You just answered to it, so it is Angel. There will be no argument about it. Will there be, Angel? No, I guess not. They stopped for the night at a motel that was across the street from a shopping mall. Shelby said they should go shopping at the mall. They walked across to the mall. In the mall, they went into purses and more. There she got him a red hobo bag with a shoulder strap and a red wallet. Then they stopped at a drugstore where she got some tampons. Then it was cosmetics. Then she saw in a window the perfect swimsuit for him to wear. It was a very colorful one-piece swimsuit with a low back. She knew he would love wearing it and she told him so. He just gave her a look of disgust. They sat down on a bench and she handed him his new purse. She handed him the cosmetics to put into the purse and then handed him 4 tampons, telling him every woman has to be prepared and that she just knew he would want to wear them when she had her period. He thought she was crazy. They stopped at a country girl store where they found a cute dress with lots of ruffles. It was light green with little red flowers printed on it. She told him it would look great on him. Then she saw a Scents Incorporated store. They went in and she picked out a heavily scented floral perfume for him to wear. They continued to walk around the mall but didn't see anything except a kiosk in the center of the aisle that sold engraved jewelry. She got him a gold heart necklace with the name Angel engraved on it. When she asked if they should head back to the motel, he readily agreed. Back at the motel, she asked if he wanted to go into the hot whirlpool to relax a bit. He agreed, and when she handed him the new swimsuit, he said he had thought it was for her. She said she'd packed hers, but he'd needed one. He put it on. There were 2 other couples in the whirlpool. They talked to them and Shelby answered them. When she said they were on their honeymoon, they looked closely at Angel. The 2 women saw right away that he was a man. The 2 men wondered why 2 women would be on a honeymoon, unless it was a lesbian marriage. Back in their room, he asked, "There is something that is bothering me. You aren't thinking of sending me to work in a dress, are you? I think you could go to work in a dress. Your job can easily be done by a woman, so a dress shouldn't stop you. Please don't send me to work in a dress. I'll consider it. You may be right. What do the women wear to work? They always wear slacks, never dresses or skirts. What do they wear with the slacks? Blouses, I guess. I never paid much attention to what they had on. I was too busy loading washers and emptying dryers." Shelby thought, and came up with a solution to the problem. The next morning, before they started out, she said they had to stop at the mall. They stopped and she headed right for a women's wear store. There she got 5 pairs of women's slacks in feminine colors that had side zippers and no pockets. Then it was 5 feminine white blouses. She told him now he had clothes to wear to work. They were on their way again. At 2 in the afternoon, they arrived at their destination. They checked into their motel and the desk clerk told them about a place 5 miles out of town called Discount City. He said there were about 20 stores there that sold everything at a low price. Shelby said they would check it out. The man gave them a map of the area with the area attractions on it. They got their suitcases into the room and Shelby studied the map. She found a half-dozen places she said she would like to see. She told him the places and he said it sounded great. Then she asked him seriously, "Do you like it when I make the decisions? I mean, you aren't even looking at the map to see if there is any place you want to go. I am making all the decisions and you are agreeing to everything I suggest. All of your suggestions are good. I don't have any problem with any of them. If I did, I would let you know about it. I did say about wearing dresses to work, didn't I? That is about the only thing you asked about, and you didn't say you were totally against it. you just asked if I intended to send you to work in dresses. So that doesn't count as an objection. Now, do you want me to make all the decisions or not? I really don't care. Whatever you want. Good. Then I will make the decisions and you will go along with them. Do you understand? He stood silent. She took his silence as a yes. I can take your silence as a yes to my making the decisions. You could at least answer me. You can make the decisions. They left the motel and headed for the first local attraction. It was a museum that featured clothing styles through the ages. They had all the first ladies in what they wore at the time. He was more interested in the old-time machines they had there. It was supper time and they ate at a fast food place and headed back to the motel. At the motel, she handed him a razor and told him to take a bath and to shave all of his hair from the neck down. He asked why and she said she'd made the decision. When he got out of the tub, he was hairless from the neck down. Shelby inspected him and told him he was to stay that way, that she shouldn't have to tell him to shave in the future. She gave him a bottle of lotion to rub all over his body. When he was in his nightgown, she told him he looked just adorable. He blushed and she said he should be wearing makeup so he would look enticing. He said he didn't want to get it all over the pillowcase. The next morning he was up first and got dressed in an ivory dress that had a straight skirt. He did his makeup and was ready to go. Shelby woke up and told him to go over to the office and have breakfast. She said she would meet him there. She met him there and told him today they were going to see the musical display at another museum and in the afternoon they were going to see the wax museum. At the musical museum he was bored to death. He couldn't believe some of the displays they had there. Shelby played every display they came across. In the afternoon at the wax museum she pointed out every dress she thought he would look good in. He wasn't impressed with her picks. That evening she told him tomorrow they were going to Discount City before they headed back home. He said that sounded pretty good. The next morning he put on a lacy white blouse and black sheath skirt. Shelby told him he looked just like an office worker. She said he should try to get a job in an office as an office girl or something. They arrived at Discount City. They started at one end and worked their way to the other. He enjoyed how the nylons felt on his legs. The second store had women's clothes. There Shelby found 2 dresses she said she just knew he had to have. They checked out. The next store was a men's clothing store. Shelby said they didn't need to go in there. The next store sold printed shirts and blouses. Shelby felt mean and got him a pink blouse with the imprint Princess Angel on it. He didn't think it was funny at all. The next store sold knickknacks and they didn't see anything. The next store sold costume jewelry and she got him 3 necklaces and 4 bracelets. The next 3 stores didn't impress them at all. The last store in the line sold a bit of everything. There she found a silk nightgown with the saying "I am the queen" on it. Then a pair of black heels with a 5-inch heel. She showed them to Angel, telling him she knew he wanted them. She told him to tell her to buy them for him. He balked, and she reminded him that she made the decisions and he better tell her what she wanted to hear. "I really want those heels. Will you please buy them for me? Please." She laughed and got them. Then she saw nail polishes that were bargain priced. She picked a dozen colors. They checked out. Then they were on their way home. That night at the motel they went to the whirlpool. There was no one there so they enjoyed the pool in silence. Back in their room Shelby told him tomorrow she would decide what he was to wear. He was afraid that she had something bad in mind. The next morning he was up early and made coffee in the little pot that was in the room. He drank both cups before she got up. She got up and handed him a long line bra to wear. Then it was lacy panties and a black garter belt and black nylons. He got everything on and she handed him a short black slip to wear. He got that on and she handed him a red and black mini dress to wear. Then she handed him the 5-inch black heels to put on. He got them on and had a lot of trouble walking in them. She told him to keep walking, that he would get used to them. They were on their way home again and she drove. They stopped for lunch and he was going to drive, but she said she would drive. He got in the passenger side and sat down. She was impressed that he carried his purse so nicely and that he was walking so well in the heels. She knew then he would do anything she said. It made her feel warm all over. She thought about when they were young and played together. At supper time she stopped at a diner that had 6 customers. They all looked at the strangers. They were obviously locals who ate there often. They ordered and the food was excellent. A half-hour later they were on their way again. "Tell me, Angel, what are you thinking about?" "I was just thinking about how beautiful you are. I think I am very lucky that you love me. I think I was in love with you when we were little children and playing together. We did have fun then. Do you remember it?" "Yes, I remember everything. I remember how you got me in a dress and sent me home so my mother could see me and I ended up wearing dresses. Then in high school when you told Sandy about my wearing a dress and she had me wear that fairy costume to school and her cheerleading outfit, which I still have. Why did you keep it?" "I really don't know why I kept it. Maybe because it reminds me of school. What is really funny is that no one said anything about it. It was just as though I was invisible in the uniform. You should have seen Sandy's face when I put the cage back into her hands. I have to laugh when I think about it. Then you did enjoy wearing the uniform. Would you like to wear it for me sometime?" "I don't know. I am still hoping I'll gain some weight so none of those things will fit anymore." "If you were to gain weight you would have gained it already. You might as well make up your mind that you will always be thin and short. To me you are 10 feet tall and that is all that matters. I really do love you. I don't know what or where I would be if it wasn't for you being there all of my life. I want to see you in the cheerleader uniform when we get home. I can't remember how you looked in it. You have so many new clothes to wear that I think you should put on a style show when we get home. Don't get carried away. You will see everything soon enough. It isn't as if you have no idea what I have to wear. I guess you are right. I know you will be happier wearing dresses than those crappy jeans you wear. You should thank me for being so understanding." He didn't know about that. She saw him go into his thinking stage and kept quiet. It was time to stop for the night. Right next to the motel was a place called the Nail Palace. After they were settled in their room she had them visit the Nail Palace. She told him he was getting another manicure. He looked forward to it, as he enjoyed the last one. He didn't pay much attention until the girl started to put polish on his nails. Then he wondered how they got so long. The girl told him they were the longest they had and that they were false nails. He was in shock over what Shelby had set up. Back in the motel room he wanted to know why she had them put such long nails on him. She told him it was more feminine to have longer nails and that people would notice them and not notice that he was a man. She told him he would have to go every 2 weeks and get them filled as they grew out. He went to bed a very unhappy man. The next morning he put on a pink sundress that had lace-trimmed ruffles on it. He wore the pink flats and suntan nylons. They would be home that afternoon. Shelby drove and they made good time. They got home at 3 in the afternoon. It was almost 4 before they had everything out of the car. Shelby said they needed some groceries. He told her to go ahead and get some. She left thinking he probably would lay down and take a nap. She got home and carried the groceries into the house and set them down on the counter. When she looked up, she saw him wearing the cheerleader uniform. He said she'd wanted to see it on him, so here it was. She told him to give a cheer. He said he didn't know any, and she told him to make one up. He thought, then started. Gimme a S, gimme a H, gimme me an E, gimme an L, gimme a B, gimme a Y. What does that spell? It spells Shelby. Shelby laughed and laughed. She told him he was something else. She kissed him and told him she loved him. They went to bed very tired that night and slept late the next morning. It was Sunday and they just took it easy. Shelby asked if he wanted to go to a movie, and he said that sounded good. After supper they went to a movie. When the movie ended, they were walking to their car when two young toughs stopped them and demanded money. He felt something work its way up in him, swung his purse, and hit one square on the jaw, knocking him down and out. The other one saw that and took off running. The one on the ground came to and stuck his hands out to show he had enough. He took off running. You certainly showed them something. I never thought you had it in you to do something like that. I don't know where it came from. I just did it. Well, you are my hero. The next day he wore a white lace-trimmed blouse and pink slacks with pink flats to work. At work, everyone wanted to know how his honeymoon was. He told them it was great and that he wanted to do it all over again. The women laughed and said that was always the case. Nancy asked him if that was a new outfit, and he said it was. She told him he looked nice in it. The day went fast for him. Meanwhile, Shelby's mind was filled with thoughts all day. Thoughts about last night and how he had kept them from being mugged. She knew she had to do something. She was getting into her car to go home when she thought of exactly what to do. She stopped on the way home and picked up some things. At home, she hurried into the bedroom. When she came out, she was carrying a pair of men's jeans, a shirt, a t-shirt, jockey shorts, and a pair of white socks. She presented them to him. What is this? This is men's clothes. You are more of a man than I ever thought you were. You can now wear men's clothes all the time. Thank you, but I think I will continue the way we are. I wouldn't have been able to do what I did if I wasn't carrying a purse. I am going to continue to carry a purse, and if I am carrying a purse, I might as well stay dressed in dresses or the slacks you got me. Shelby was disappointed. I am going to put these clothes in your dresser. They will be there whenever you decide to wear them. At supper, Shelby was getting madder and madder that he didn't want to wear the jeans. The more she thought about it, the madder she got. She told him that as long as he wanted to wear the dresses, he could do the cleaning, laundry, dishes, and yard work, the whole time wearing dresses. He asked what she was going to do, and she said she was going to do nothing. They finished supper and he did the dishes. He went into the living room and said he didn't think it was fair that he had to do everything. She reminded him that he wanted her to make all the decisions and that she had made the decision that he was to do everything. He didn't have an answer to that. The next day she stopped again and got him something special. When she got home, she told him to follow her into the bedroom. She told him to get his slacks and blouse off. He did as she said. She handed him a multi-layered short petticoat. Then it was a black French maid's uniform. She told him to get it on and get it on fast. He put it on and asked why he should wear it. Because you are no more than a maid around here. I want you to wear your highest heels with your new uniform. You will do all of your chores wearing the uniform. I got you a spare to wear when you have to wash this one. Now go start supper." He went and started supper. When supper was ready, he called her. They ate in silence. After supper he did the dishes, then went to sit down and rest his legs. He sat down and Shelby sharply asked what he was doing. He said he was relaxing. "When you don't have anything to do, you are to stand by me in case I have something for you to do. Now get over here." He went and stood by her. 15 minutes later she told him to get her a glass of ice water. He got it and handed it to her. She told him in the future he was to serve it on a tray. He wondered why she was doing this to him. The next day after work she told him he should do the laundry and hang it outside to dry. He started the laundry, and when the first load was done he went outside to hang it up. His heels went down into the ground. He had to stay on his tiptoes. He got everything hung up and back into the house. He told Shelby his heels sunk into the ground and asked if he could change shoes. She told him to leave his shoes on, that it wasn't that bad to walk on your tiptoes. He managed to get all 3 loads hung up. The first load was dry by the time he hung up the last load, so he got it down. Shelby watched as he folded everything. She was still angry that he wasn't wearing the jeans and everything she had gotten him. He had gotten everything off the clothesline and folded and put away. He was tired, so he got ready for bed. Shelby came and asked why he was in bed so early. He told her he was tired. She told him tomorrow he was to wear the heels he had worn tonight. She said then he would be getting used to wearing them. He didn't know about that. The next morning he put on a lacy white blouse and the mint green slacks. He didn't want to, but he put on the higher heels. Shelby told him he looked spiffy today. At work the women couldn't believe he would wear such high heels to work. All day his legs were sore and all he wanted to do was sit down and rest them. He was going to change shoes when he got home, but Shelby told him to leave them on and get his maid's uniform on. He got it on, and when he came by Shelby she told him a maid curtsies when she comes by her mistress. She told him to curtsy. He did, and she said that was fine. She told him he was to curtsy whenever he served anyone. The doorbell rang and he was surprised to see his mother. She told him he looked sweet in his uniform. Shelby asked if she wanted some tea and she said that would be delightful. Shelby told Angel to make some tea and serve it with cream and sugar. She said not to forget to curtsy. He went and made the tea. He served it to his mother first after he curtsied to her. She took the tea and 2 sugar cubes. Then he curtsied to Shelby and served her the tea. He returned to the kitchen and was starting to boil. He didn't think it was necessary to curtsy to them. He headed for the bedroom. When he came out he went into the living room where the women were. Shelby saw he had his men's clothes on. "Well, you finally decided to wear your men's clothes. Now, isn't that better? I will wear what I want when I want. No one is going to tell me what to wear or when to wear it. If I feel like wearing men's clothes, I will wear men's clothes, and if I feel like wearing a dress, I will wear a dress. Is that understood?" Shelby knew he meant what he said. She replied, "Yes, you can wear what you want, when you want. That's my decision." She got up and gave him a kiss.